Welcome to the Empowering Industry Podcast, a production from Empowering Pumps and Equipment as the voice of the pump and related equipment industry. Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 61 of the Empowering Industry Podcast. I'm your host, Charli Matthews, and I'm joined by my co-host, Bethany Womack.
Hey Charli, and I'm actually joining you from New Mexico. I came to meet my brand new baby niece, and I'm in a whole new makeshift setup that I may or may not post a picture of to my LinkedIn stories that I haven't in a while. So I'm really happy to be here with you and at the start of this jaunt of a trip. And I'm happy that all the listeners chose us like they do every day. Today, let's see, what are we going to do? We're going to cover social media, talk about the news, and then bring you an industry interview. And as always, it helps us if you leave us a rating and review. That way other listeners can find the show as well. So we know where I am, Charli, but how is your week going?
Well, I'm still in Alabama, but it's exciting that we are going places coming up here in the June. So I'm excited about that. I've had a fun week. I went and saw Gina Simpson do a presentation for the Women's Leadership Alliance. So that was a lot of fun. She inspires me. She's one of my mentors, and even from afar in the distance. But I felt like and she posted, thanks for the support. I did feel like I went just to see her and be there for her. So that was really nice. Also, we've had one of our children become famous, TikTok famous. So my 16-year-old Jackson, he posts a video to TikTok on his, not his real account, whatever that is. And
do you think he has a speaker's fee if we want to get him on the podcast? Now that
I said, can you please comment on it and mention us? He's like, no, Mom. But it was funny because he posted just like a normal, bad lighting video or whatever. That's like, what do you do when you don't have a girlfriend? You don't have, you're not working. You don't play sports. What do you do? In the summer, I guess, because that's what we're in. And he got 200,000 hits overnight, and he's at work and his phone is blowing up. He's like, what is happening? And so anyway, I thought it was hilarious. I don't understand how in the world people found it or saw it. I don't understand how TikTok works. I really tried, but I can't see any rhyme or reason why they picked this up. So I was like, is it the music that he has that was connected to it? Who knows? But his little friend group.
Maybe the content. People can really connect to him. These teenage boys that don't know what to do in their free time.
It's true. So
I gave you a list of things off my task list that I thought I could train him to do, and you were like, he's not interested in that. So
I hope that we'll find something for him to do. He does have a job, so he has a lot of work to do, and he has a dog. So take care of your dog. How about that? Take him to the lake or something. Anyway.
That's awesome. Jackson's awesome. And I know someone famous, so that makes me excited.
Yes. So how was your week, Bethany? And New Mexico.
Yeah. So I made the trek with my whole family yesterday, Mark and the boys, and we flew here because we have a new baby niece that we wanted to come meet. And then we're making a little vacation out of it on our way to Chicago because we're going to be in Chicago doing some empowering women things next week. But it was
tell us about the pilot and holding Jack. I mean, I saw the picture and it was just Jack was for it. Was he just put me in your lap to the captain?
Well, this is, my first flight since the pandemic, my first flight with 2 kids, just lots of things. And both boys, they really did amazing. I mean, I was telling people the most stressful part is just all the junk you have to take. And so once you check that, it's a little bit easier. And there was really nice people along the way who told me nice things. So it was Jack's first flight, and I really wanted to get a picture of him in the cockpit because I did that with Bowen when Bowen was 3 months old and we went on a flight. And I was like, it's just fun to document his first flight. And so it was this tiny little plane, and I'd asked the flight attendant before it landed, I'm like, hey, if we wait till everyone gets off, can we stop and take a picture of the cockpit? And she's like, oh yeah, I'll warn the pilot. No big deal. That's wonderful. And I get up there and I tell the pilot, and the pilot goes like this, and he just holds out his arms to grab the baby. And I was like, oh. You want to hold my baby? And he was like, yes, give him to me. So the sweet pilot named Ravi and our flight attendant Kia on United Airlines made my day as a mom. And we had this really fun picture.
Which made my day the next day. So awesome.
It was so great. And they did really great. And so I'm having fun here and, still working and doing the podcast, and it's really fun. But like I said, we're going to Chicago next week, which was something I wanted to tell all of the listeners to make sure you check us out on YouTube for next week's episode, because Charli and I are going to be recording together for the first time since we started this podcast, and in Chicago, because we'll be there doing fun stuff for empowering women. And I don't really know how we're going to do it with one mic maybe and the videoing, but we're going to figure it out. And I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I can't wait to see Bethany. I haven't seen her since the Empowering Women, conference, going to her house. Well, that's not true. I did get to see you in December. But I haven't met Jack, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
And yeah, Chicago is going to be hot and beautiful. So I'm looking forward to that too. Okay.
For sure.
Well, I think we should get into not the news. Let's get social.
This is where we're going to tell you, something that went on in social media in the industry that we think you need to know. But first, we have a couple events to invite you to. Charli, you want to do the honors?
Sure. The next Empowering Women Meetup is going to be Wednesday, July 14th. That's every second Wednesday. We have a special guest, Daryl Stinson. I can't remember if I'm saying your name right. Stinson, yes. And he is truly a dynamic speaker. I've seen him, met him through his abstract for the Empowering Women Conference, as well as what he's doing through Instagram and online. He is a 2 times TEDx speaker. He talks about that, a former athlete, and a best-selling author. So I'm excited about him. He talks about mental health practices. He's going to talk to us about how to be a dynamic speaker. So how to be a better speaker for, we're about to start doing some more speaking engagements, and for all of our women there who may be attending and speaking at our conference. So I'm excited for y'all to meet him. I thought he was amazing. And his daughter sings in a song with him, which is just amazing. So anyway, the Empowering Brands Meetup is going to be Tuesday, July 20th, every third Tuesday at 3 p.m. Central Time. I don't believe I told everybody what time the other one was, but maybe I did.
It's at 11. You'll show up. Yeah. Sign up for the link. It hasn't changed. It's the same every week. And I am excited to hear Daryl speak. It's I don't know that we have, or I definitely haven't been in the room where we've had a man with us at Empowering Women talking to us. And I just think it's an interesting dynamic, and I'm excited to learn from him.
You're allowed. So I'm excited to kick it off and share resources and get ready. I mean, basically this leading up to our conference in Chicago, each month we're going to share something else with you.
Yeah, super fun. Okay. So I know you had a shout out that you wanted to give on the show this week.
Yes. I love seeing everybody share the episodes, right? But I also like seeing people's names pop up that I haven't seen in a while. So Steve Smith, he's the U.S. Navy Business Segment Director for Fairbanks Morris Defense. And so he was commenting on a share of Pat Bussey's episode that we did. And so the memories that kind of flood back from Workboat and getting to meet them. And, those are just fun things. And we can get into that a little later with our topic, but I think that's part of it. Sharing that connection with the community is really something that I didn't think about when we started the podcast. These shout outs are for real people that we know. And for you who are listening, we'd love to get to know you better. If we haven't met, just go ahead and, give us a mention, and therefore, we can shout you out and get to know you better. You can always stay connected with us at Empowering Pumps or using that hashtag Empowering Industry Podcast.
Okay, so today, the big topic we wanted to talk about on Let's Get Social is really an extension of a conversation we were having on our team call this week with the Empowering team, and is really about how to use personal posts on LinkedIn to reach your audience and connect with a lot of people. And it happened because you, Charli, you were letting everyone know about your upcoming heart surgery and letting them know you'd be out. And I think doing a really wonderful job of balancing like your real feelings and emotions about everything, and then also staying positive and letting everyone know. And it just got a crazy response. Like, so many people were commenting and liking, and it really kind of blew up. It wasn't quite, 200,000 TikTok view famous, but it got a lot of views. And so we started talking about how to do that on LinkedIn, how to get these personal posts that get a lot of attention. So I just wanted to ask you, like, how did you get that? Like, what did you think when you posted that? And then you had thousands of people.
Yeah.
React.
So I think about, I really spent a long time thinking about how I was going to share this news with our network, because, it's not like me to just disappear for a month.
People would notice.
Maybe you wouldn't notice. Maybe you wouldn't notice, but I feel like somebody would notice, and I wanted them to know why. And so when I created that, I was in very much at peace with what had to happen next. And so I talk about kind of the details of the surgery, because I feel like the pump industry would think it was humorous to talk about a valve, a leaking seal, and different things like that, because that's what, is going on with me. And then I wanted to also use it for good. So there's a couple of things. Self-care is really important and has changed the way that we can lead. Me personally and others that I've talked to, I was like, okay, if you can really do some of these practices to know yourself better, to be a better leader, to know your body better, this is important. And this was important in my journey to figuring out this is what was wrong with me. And then my faith is really important to me. And I don't feel like I share that enough. I constantly want to share it. And it was a good way to bring that into my story. And I think my response to that message is threefold. It was really like, I got some humorous comments about, the valve and the seal, and, who's blaming who about what's wrong with me. And that's what we do in the pump industry. So that was fun. And then you got a group of people that, really needed to hear about the surgery. They either had the surgery or didn't, or knew something was wrong with them and needed to focus on self-care. And then the other part about it was I got to see people comment about their faith and encourage me with my faith. And that was really powerful and something that I had been not thinking about when I created the post necessarily, but it was a great, like, look at all these people who share in this and believe that I will have God with me through this. That was wonderful. Other things is just, seeing the different ways that people post. Some people just like it or send a emoji, right? Some people actually write something inspirational. Some people send you a personal message. And then the views. There were 30,000 views of this picture, your picture, by the way, Bethany. I had to pick out one that you took. And, the encouraging words. It was just phenomenal to think about my network and to see who those people were.
Well, and one of the things we were talking about on our team call was things that you did to also help it get even more views. And I think the big thing you talked about was just responding to people's comments, right?
Yes. And so I don't normally get into comments and interacting in comments because it just kind of fills up your notifications, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But this is actually where the magic happens. And so I just basically liked everyone's post. And the next step of that is actually like spending time to respond to that actual comment with something meaningful, right? Which takes a little bit more time. But anytime you like it, it shows back up into your feed, right? It's going to show on your activity. It's going to show on the person's activity. And so you're just kind of giving it another chance for people to see it. And so I think that it's really important. Commenting, reacting on people's comments, brings it up in their feed. It helps build the conversation. I wanted my network to know. And so I know how this works. And so I'm like, okay, they're not going to see it if I post it once. They're not going to see it if I post it for a week. Like, I want enough time to where my people. I mean, even today, one of our closest partners, they haven't seen it yet. Right. So, it's going to take time for people to really see it, but you can see the difference it's making. You can see the difference that it's making in people outside of our network that are friends with people who posted that. And what I did with that was, if somebody take time to comment on my post, I sent them a LinkedIn invitation. Like, we are now together, connected. Thank you very much.
That's awesome.
And so they're all, and I got a screenshot of this because I thought it was remarkable just to see who is actually, in my network. So salespeople was the top, which I thought was great because I'm a salesperson. Engineers, executive director, project manager, business strategy. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Operations specialists, mechanics, and tradespeople. And I'm like, marketing's the last one on that screenshot. But, it just was surprising.
Save the best for last. I get it.
Yes. And so I just think it's amazing, the things that we can learn by just putting the effort to say something real.
Yes.
For sure.
And the whole responding to comments works even beyond LinkedIn. We're talking about LinkedIn today, but on other social networks like Instagram, I know for sure the algorithm works if you have comments that are longer than 3 words. So, you can't even just say thanks. You got to say thank you very much or something for it to help you boost how many times people see it. So while it does take time, you will see results that way, which you did with this post. But then what I was thinking about this whole time, and even on our team call, was really how you and we talk about personal branding all the time. And we tell people how to do a good personal brand. And one of the hardest things I think to implement is for people to actually add the personal part into the personal brand. Everyone that we work with and everyone that you interact with on LinkedIn, they have a life outside of their career and their work. They have a family, they have hobbies, they have health issues, they have lows, and they have high highs and joys and things they want to celebrate, and a whole life. And, sharing something personal from your life helps give you a reason to connect with them about even more things. I would say, when you think about posting this, you obviously pick your platform. LinkedIn is where we're going to post the least about our personal lives in general. So you pick and choose things that are important that you would want your work colleague to know about you, like that you're going to be out for 2 months. And, we were talking about Vince posted a picture with his new baby granddaughter, who he's just so proud of. And it was wonderful seeing those messages. And we were so excited on our team. And everyone loved that post so much on
That's
LinkedIn.
Right. I think that is what we have to do. We have to look at sharing part of our lives, these monumental moments. Work is not personal is over here and work is over here. It's all together, and this is life, and we should be able to share that with our closest connections. I think when we get into sharing personal things that are negative or don't really think that they matter, if you think that yourself, you definitely shouldn't post it. But the things that do, they get this genuine response. So this has always been true. I remember trying to create questions and post them in our LinkedIn group. And if I created it, it's like, is that a real question? Versus one that was sent in to us, a real technical question. Mm-hmm. And so I just think it's that genuine self. And I'm thankful that people did respond and show that they cared for me. And the thing is, we want to be able to do that with content on a regular basis. We want to be able to create a story that matters. The story about essential workers really, got a lot of attention because it mattered to people. And so when you do find a post that gets attention, then you need to engage with it. You need to interact with it. You need to, fuel the fire that people really want from you. And so I'm going to continue to like and comment on, I am going to go back and comment on each of these because I think it's important for me to do that. But last thoughts are, go ahead and share a little bit about yourself. Don't be nervous to do it because that's what we really want to know. What is uniquely you? And that's what we love. That's why we're connected with you. So we look forward to hearing from you, and, please entertain Bethany while I'm out.
Please. My life is going to be so dull.
No, Becca's going to keep you entertained as well.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for, sharing the vulnerable side of your personal life right now with all of us, and reiterating it all the time for us on the podcast to help the network learn how to be the social media queen like Charli. I think that's the goal of this segment, is to help other people be a queen. I am the
social media queen. I was called the pump girl this week. So, I do have a little pump knowledge, but definitely a little more social media knowledge.
Love it.
Okay, let's get into some pump talk, actually.
Yeah, so into the news. I think I figured out how to make it only play once this week, so wins for me. So in the news, this segment is where we're going to preview something coming out on the Empowering Pumps and Equipment newsletter this week. If you're not signed up for that, you get an email twice a week letting you know some fun articles that, I say fun, very important articles and things going on in the industry that you need to know. And just to plug, our digital edition did come out last week, if you're listening to this Monday. And Charli and I previewed it on last week's podcast if you want to go back and listen to that. But definitely it's worth the listen. That link will be in the show notes. And then last plug before I let Charli talk, because apparently I just love to hear myself talk.
Good. We need that on the podcast.
I'm gearing up for, next month.
She's leading.
Yeah. Anyway, this is your friendly reminder, everyone that's listening, that you can nominate someone for Person of the Week. It's anyone you think in the industry that's doing an awesome job and really needs to be highlighted. It's a great, we'll send them an email and they answer some questions, and then we get to share them with our network. And I would encourage all of you to think through somebody in your network and send us a nomination.
Awesome. Okay, so the item that I wanted to share is a Chesterton webinar on using split seals on large pumps and other rotating equipment. And so they're going to talk about the Chesterton 442C XL split seal technology in this webinar. They will guide us experienced and inexperienced people through the history of split seal mechanical seals. And you're going to find out the current designs, how they came about, and where, they can benefit you. So I think I love the Chesterton technologies. They always have cool stories about how they were created. So excited about that. And we'll include the link in the show notes, of course, for you to register.
Awesome. The news story I'm going to preview for you today comes to us from Armstrong Fluid Technology. So they just launched their OptiPoint, a self-learning optimization technology. It actually enables active performance management by creating, I thought this was so cool, and this is why I took this story, by creating a digital twin of a mechanical system and then learning its operating characteristics in real time.
She's cool about twins because of she's married to a twin, y'all. That's part of it.
And I'm currently in the house with both of them at the same time. It's a little weird.
That is kind of like,
how cool is that? They have like a clone of a machine that they can then learn optimization for it. So, I mean, here we go. Back to the thing. What does OptiPoint actually do? It optimizes your system efficiency. It reduces your energy consumption by as much as 50%, and it safeguards the system optimization and minimizes plant operating costs. So all things that I think would highly benefit a lot of our manufacturers listening to this podcast, and just a interesting article to learn some things. So check it out.
So one more thing that I didn't talk to you about, Bethany, but I am celebrating 10 years as being an entrepreneur. So as this comes out, I will have celebrated. It's on the 20th. And so I just think that I would love to hear from other entrepreneurs out there in our industry. And I'll be celebrating from June to August, because August is when Empowering Pump's birthday is. And so, I just wanted to...
And she needs to give me a little extra time to get some kind of something put together.
Well, I've got a video in the works with Carter to kind of talk about our journey, but that's really fun. Just doing it is fun. But anyway, I wanted to just bring that up because we will be celebrating it, whether we post about it or not. I love celebrating with our podcast listeners. So I'll be
Yes.
doing that this weekend and on Monday with you.
10 years, Charli, is amazing.
I heard something on Ed Milet's podcast that said like, after 10 years, you're like legit. So I was really happy about that.
Well, congratulations. Let me know how being legit feels so I have something to look forward to.
Love it.
But I am really looking forward to seeing this email with you and Carter. I know there's going to be outtakes. And if we say it on the podcast, then it has to happen. So
that's right.
I'm excited. And I hope you do, go out to a nice dinner or do something fun on Sunday with your family to celebrate, because that's, big commitment from all of you.
Well, yes. And we have Vera's birthday party. And so if y'all follow me on social media, y'all have seen a picture of Vera. She is the middle child of my younger brother. And she just reminds me of my middle child and myself. And so we'll have just a big celebration with the balloons and cake. And, I'll add in, hey, y'all know what? It's my work anniversary too. So it'll be awesome.
I have lots of nieces and nephews, and I always tell people, you need to pick a favorite. Like, get one just slightly nicer presents than the rest of them, so that by the time they all get to adults, you've got like one insurance policy who will take care of you if your children decide not to like put you in a nice home or something.
I love it.
Okay, so now we're going to move into our industry interview, and we have a good one for you today. Charli, why don't you introduce her?
Yes, I love this conversation with Linda Raynes. She is the president and CEO of the Electrical Apparatus Service Association, aka EASA, which is happening June the 27th through the 29th. Linda has joined the staff at EASA, back in 1983. She worked there after working as a journalist, so a broadcast journalist, which I thought was really cool. Seeing how, we're talking audio here.
And podcast, yeah.
Yes. I'm like, come on. And so the other thing is, she worked in EASA for several years, and so she's had a long career there. But I just think that she's just a cool example for us, right? A role model for us. And Vince will be at EASA, going around doing his thing there. So hopefully he'll run into Linda and y'all can say hey to her. But I think you're going to enjoy just her path. And she does go into EASA and what that entails, kind of a preview of EASA, the event. So stay around and learn from her, as I did.
Awesome. I'm really looking forward to the interview, and I think we should just get to it. So without further delay, here's your interview.
So excited, that I have you on the Empowering Industry podcast. I've waited to bring you on to something like this in a while. I want to hear your story. I can't wait, to share you with the industry. So let's start there, Linda. Let's start with who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm very happy to be here. Happy to be with you. My name is Linda Raynes. I am the president and CEO of EASA, the Electrical Apparatus Service Association. We are based in St. Louis, but we have members all over the world. Large number of members in the U.S., great cadre of members in Canada, Mexico, South America. We have a great European and world chapter, Australasian and New Zealand chapters as well.
That's amazing. And this is, motor manufacturers as well as motor repair. I guess there's probably more in there that I don't know as far as your membership base, but kind of come together for the EASA event, which will be at the end of June. And, come to learn. I know that's a big part of kind of your mission is to educate there. But before we get into that, and I do want to go into EASA and this upcoming event, tell us how you got into the industry.
Well, it was, as many association leaders would tell you, it was unintended. It's to a certain extent. My background is actually communications. So I went to school for radio broadcasting with news reporting as a focus. And
well, you are in your element then. Here we go. You asked me the questions.
I did that for a couple of years and decided what was I thinking, and came back to St. Louis and thought, well, I'll just take a job and then decide what I'm going to do, whether it's still going to be within media or what it will be. And so I took an administrative position at EASA And that was way back in 1983, believe it or not, and thought I'll be there for a year or two and, maybe even less and decide what I'm going to do. And quite frankly, I fell in love with our members. Uh, our members are those who are in the electromechanical repair, service, and sales industry. Uh, and it's an industry that if you weren't working in it or for it, you may not realize it exists. I certainly didn't before I became a staff member at EASA. But without our members, things frankly would pretty much stop.
Yes.
It's a key industry, and our members serve virtually every industry that exists. They're largely family owned. About 70% of our members are family owned businesses, and just salt of the earth, down to earth people. And so helping small businesses and working in the organization, it just felt right, felt comfortable, and I've loved it ever since.
Yeah. And I think, part of that, you do feel that you're supporting those families and, storytelling as what they're doing, what they're making, how this affects our everyday lives. We talk about this a lot about, pumps and equipment being vital to life, and definitely the people behind it who are taking care of that. And so, I am excited to, bring everybody back together. But before we get there, tell us a little bit what it was like, managing through this pandemic where, you had a virtual event, and then now we're transitioning back to in person. What has that been like for you?
Well, needless to say, like so many others, it's been a challenging time.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought in my 20 plus year tenure as CEO that I would be canceling a convention. And that's what we ended up doing last
That's right.
year. We made the call in early April. It was the right call at the time, obviously, but we had to quickly adjust. Many would say pivot.
Mm.
I've come to hate that word.
That's right. That's
We
right.
hear
We're
it
tired
so
of
often.
adapting, y'all.
I know we're adapting, right? So we adapted and we did what was really a well-received, great EASA 2020 reimagined event. And it was well received. And we did not just that, but we had, hundreds of participants. And But in addition to that, we did some webinars that were timely on behalf of our members. We did a whole coronavirus portal so that they could get information that they needed. We are very fortunate. Our industry is very fortunate that we are essential. We did not have a scenario where, like so many other industries, that really were shut down. Uh, I'm not going to say that our members weren't negatively impacted because they were. They had to cope with so many things, but for the most part, they were still operating. And it was important that we were stepping up to support their efforts. And I'm very proud of our team, very proud of our volunteers. We did a lot in that regard. So not only did we do that in additional webinars, we transitioned our in-person seminars to virtual, and they were very well attended, very well received. I wasn't certain how that would go, frankly. We do very concentrated, full-on 2-day in-person seminars on topics like principles of medium and large AC motors and root cause failure analysis and mechanical repair fundamentals, fundamentals of DC, fundamentals of pump repair, just a whole variety of seminars. And we transitioned those to half day, 4 days in a row virtual. And it was well done, well received. We had a couple of engineers on each of the sessions, and that helped as well. So we've done a lot, provided a lot of information and so forth. So it's been challenging, but it's been good, and I think our members have really appreciated that. Many trade associations, as they've gone through the pandemic, have been very concerned that membership has dropped and engagement has dropped and so forth. And we're very fortunate that that did not occur. So
Yeah.
that's a
I
great
think
thing.
Yeah, I think that's a testament to you being there and providing resources for them. They still felt as part of that community, right? And so I think it wasn't about, okay, we need this event, we've lost the revenues and different things like that, which is definitely part of it. But the other part is, well, we didn't lose our people and we stayed connected with them for, this upcoming event. So I'm excited about that. So I feel like there's just going to be this just excitement to get back together and see each other. And tell us a little bit about that. Where is the event and what can we expect from EASA this year?
We are in Fort Worth, Texas. They have a wonderful package for us in that, we are at the convention center, and essentially we're the only show in town at that time, which is great. We have most of our rooms are we're in 3 hotels in the area. Omni is right across the street. There's a Hilton very close by and a Sheraton. And so it's a very compact package, and they have a very nice downtown. It's very affordable to get in and out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area flight-wise. And we have a great Southwestern chapter, so I'm confident we're going to have a lot of drive-in attendees as well. So Fort Worth is just, they have a lot of restaurants in the area, and just a number of great things to see.
Yeah, it's very family friendly too. I really like that. I went with my mom and my cousin the last time that I had been in that town, and they bring the cattle out and different things. So that's really, really interesting, and just a lot of things to do with the old. I think it's like a railroad station or something down there, or the railroad runs through there. But it was very interesting and neat. So I think there's that element to it as well, that you can have a little fun while you're at the conference as well. Which the conference itself is fun. A couple of years back when we were in Vegas, I brought my son and he helped me with the booth. And it was just a great opportunity to showcase what the industry that I work in every day is really like. So that was really, really a neat experience. Is there any particular sessions this year that you're excited about that you want to point out? I'm sure you're excited about all of them.
We are excited about all of them, as a matter of fact. So it's always dangerous to highlight any few, but one of our most highly rated speakers and a best-selling author is a gentleman by the name of Mike Weinberg. We had him in Las Vegas in that 2019, and he was among the top rated that we've had. He is a guy who is very practical. It's real takeaways, and I know some of our members have basically taken his mantra through the next couple of years. And he is doing an optional sales seminar for us, Supercharge Your Sales Leadership. Excellent. It's a full-day program on the Saturday prior to our event, the June 26th. And, it's an incredible value that we're offering. When he does it himself, and he does it fairly often, it's 10 times the price we're charging. So it's a real opportunity for our members. We've got a good crowd coming for that, and can certainly take a few more. He'll also be doing a couple of really great sessions for us on Sunday morning prior to our kickoff event. We've got a wonderful keynote speaker, and it was just kind of serendipitous that the topic for our keynote on Sunday is the hero effect.
Yes.
Because in our view, our members are heroes, right? But sometimes we all need to be reminded of it, and how all of us can make impacts both in our business lives, our personal lives, and so forth. So I know that our members will get a lot of value out of that message. But we also have some bonus sessions on Saturday afternoon that our members will be very interested in. Some of your readers and listeners, some pump sessions that our Gene Vogel will be doing on Saturday.
Yes.
We have a half-day session on synchronous machines on Saturday afternoon. Our general session on Monday will be very interesting and something that our members really need to be keyed into. And that is some industry research that we've been doing in the past year. not this time amongst our repair firm and sales distributor members, but the supplier community, the manufacturers. What is it that our members need to be paying attention to? And there are some things in here that all members really need to absorb, listen to, and take into consideration when running their businesses in the near and distant future, quite frankly. So we're excited about that. We've got some great management and sales sessions on Monday morning. And then, of course, we, for a number of years, we have had a gentleman by the name of Brian Bolio on our program from ITR Economics. And on Tuesday, immediately following our business meeting, he will address, post-pandemic economy, what members should be paying attention to, and, how they should position themselves financially in their businesses in the coming years. So
yeah, and I really enjoy him and his brother when they speak on economics. I mean, I could just I minored in economics, and it just fascinates me.
yeah,
Because I mean, it's right on, and we do have to adjust sometimes, but I'd be interested to hear that. So,
absolutely.
excellent.
And I've not even addressed the expo in all this. We've got our Solutions Expo, the exhibit hall on Sunday afternoon, Monday afternoon, and Tuesday morning. And we have a good crowd. We will have new product theater sessions, a lot for our members to see, and it's really the year to reconnect with our with the industry. So it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, absolutely, and make sure that you take time to get to know people. It may, I don't know, for when you're walking around those shows, I wonder if it's going to be like weird to kind of have conversations with people. But just give yourself like a moment, right? Like think about what's at that booth. Okay, what's the questions that you want to ask? Just so if it is, I mean, we've got to start reconnecting, but I feel like it's going to be new for people. So give yourself a little grace and be prepared for that feeling, and then just embrace it and find out the new
Absolutely.
technologies, right? So
Absolutely. And we're making it easy for folks because, we transitioned from, initially it was, well, you have to wear a mask, you have to do this. And as things have changed with both CDC guidelines and local guidelines in Fort Worth, we have adjusted our policies. So if you are fully vaccinated, you do not need to wear a mask in the center. But we'll also, in each registration bag, we'll have 3 dots. So we'll have a red, yellow, and green dot, and you decide what you want to put on your badge in terms of your comfort level. So if you have a red dot on your badge, that means, still stay back. I'll talk with you, but that person will probably be masked, and I want to stay 6 feet away.
yeah,
If it's
don't let
yellow,
Charli hug you. Okay, this is a blaring red button
that's
there. Yeah.
no hugs. So it goes from red to green, which is high fives and handshakes, right? But I'm sanitizing pretty often, and so we're adjusting. I think people will be comfortable with that, and as you said, it's really going to be getting back into the groove, right?
Yeah, well, I think that's a great way to do that, and just something visual that people can immediately look for when they're approaching somebody, and it'll just a good reminder too,
Yeah,
and to be conscious of that and empathetic
yeah.
on where people are. So, great job there, and I don't know, just as we've been talking, Linda, have you thought of anything else that you might want to share with our audience?
Mainly to check out our website because we have a host of information out there, including a section for end users that has a lot of information on, not just our standard AR100, ANSI AR100, but just a host of information that's of value to them. And check us out there. Convention seminars that we'll have coming up this fall. We will go back to in-person programming. And for our members, our chapters are going to be doing a lot of really great chapters and regions. We'll be doing some great meetings this fall and into next year that are already being scheduled. So that's a phenomenal thing as well.
Yeah, so it sounds good all the way around. Just get connected, and we'll definitely show or put in our show notes all of the different links so that they can get involved. And Linda, just thank you for your time today. It was so great to see you, and I'm looking forward to hearing about such an amazing event. And I wish you the best at your event.
Thank you so much. Great to see you as well. Take care.
Charli, thanks so much for bringing Linda on the show and sharing her story and talking about EASA. One thing that I did think about is that we did some partner preview videos for some of our partners that are going to be at EASA. So check out our social media, our YouTube page. They're also there on our YouTube page. So if you're watching this on YouTube, just an easy click over. But to get a preview of some of our partners that are going to be at EASA as well. It should be a great event.
Yes, absolutely. I'm excited about it. This does bring us to the end of the show, which I'm never excited about, but we want to thank you for listening. And we'll be together next episode in Chicago. So super excited about that.
So excited. In the meantime, do us a favor, subscribe, rate and review the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you listen to it. That really helps us find other listeners like you.
Yeah, and you can always reach us at Empowering Pumps or using the hashtag Empowering Industry Podcast. You can email us to podcast@empoweringpumps.com.
And we'll be back every Monday with a new episode.
So until then, be empowering.
I always forget to start this.
I remember to dance this time.
Yay! You're cute.
You're cute.